I want to make sure this is titled correctly. We are going to the Imperial Palace to confront our good friend, Jogger Tharn. The whole point of this game. It's a little awkward getting to the Imperial Palace. Let's go, Jogger. You get the Staff Chaos, put it together. The general flow of this game is when you get a new piece of the staff, you take a nap. When you take a nap, Rhea Silmane's ghost shows up in your dreams and tells you something about how Jogger Tharn hates you and how he's still looking for you. He's getting real pissed off, but you're doing a good job, and you just keep at it, and you're going to find the next piece of the staff any day now. You should try out Province X, right? She just tells you to go somewhere. Or maybe she doesn't tell you to go. Sometimes she'll say, you know, the next piece of the staff is in this place. I'm not sure where this place is, but you should ask around one of these two locations. You know, like, oh, it's in this crystal tower. I'm not sure how to get there, but it's on the coast, right? And you got to go to the province, and you essentially have to, you know, ask people for rumors until they tell you, hey, yeah, the Mages Guild knows all about that place. And then you go to the Mages Guild, and they say, oh, I'll tell you how to get there if you help me with this errand first. And then you go get a map or a tablet at some other dungeon until you're done. That's the whole structure. When you get the last piece of the Staff of Chaos, you get this dialogue saying that the piece kind of assembles the staff together. It doesn't. You still got 8 staff pieces in your inventory, right? And nothing happens. You go take a nap, nothing happens. So I assume I'm doing this correctly. I hope I'm doing this correctly. But I just walked my ass into the Imperial Palace. I just went straight to the Imperial Province, walked straight ahead from the front gates, and I just walked in. So Jogger Tharn gave me a little, like, you wouldn't dare confront me here. I'm gonna mess you up speech. So I imagine this must be correct. I don't know if it's the case or not. And, oh wow, Imperial City. You know, what's really interesting about this is a dungeon, right? But the whole map is unlocked, right? I see everything here. Let's kind of go around here. Jogger Tharn beats the welcome, foolish child. I'm foolish, and yet you're the ones trying to kill me with fire. Could not be less threatening to me right now. Oh. Hey, dudes. I haven't fought you guys in quite a while. I wonder if I should even bother wailing on them, or if I should just cast some spells. Okay, so it looks like wailing on them is a valid strategy. I've got at least a +1 to strength here, so my Ebony Blade is not doing 0 damage. 7 gold pieces? That changes everything! First time I fought those guys, I thought they were impossible. They were quite hard. You know what, though? This is the last dungeon. I'm just gonna lay it all out on the table. You want to step to me? You're gonna get the big boom touch, my friend. And there's no way you stand up to that. in the wall. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, buddy. I made a set of ludicrously overpowered spells. Their only drawback is that they're a little expensive to cast. Big Boom Touch. 1 to 30 points of damage to health, plus 10 to 20 per level. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but at level 19, right, that means it's 1 to 30 plus, you know, 190 to 380. I have no idea why I settled on that. I was just twiddling around with numbers. And Searing Palm, which is 1 to 1 plus 50 to 100 per level. Again, just fiddling about with levels, with numbers. But that, I mean, that could lead to, you know, as many as 1900 damage to somebody, right? I should really cast Searing Palm. It's basically, it's a casting cost 59. Big Boom Touch is casting cost 19. Okay, so Big Boom Touch is a lot more efficient. Searing Palm, though. You want to kill a Lich? Right? Searing Palm's your guy. Alright, let's resist fire. Light me up! There you go. They're both good. And they're both designed specifically for high priority targets with a lot of power behind them. But at this point in the game, I have... Oh, hello, buddy. I have just a hell of a lot. No, I don't need to... No. Vampires are exactly one of the people I created Searing Palm for. Boom. But I have so many potions of Restore Power that there's just no reason to pretend to preserve my resources. I'm in the last dungeon of the game. I have a spell that will kill anything on one hit, and I have 133 potions of Restore Power at my disposal. Why would I not just spam that spell, right? That's where I'm at. Alright, so I went down to another level of the dungeon, or up, I should say. Oh, and for once, it's not telling me where to go. Okay. So, I've got a little bit of time flexibility this morning. Early in the morning, and I'm looking forward to beating this game. The last couple of dungeons, I sort of fudged my navigation. I looked at a map online. I just wanted to get through them. I won't do it this time. I'll go through this quote unquote legit. We'll see what the dungeon has in store for me if I just go through it. Oh my god, 2 iron golems. Good, he's stuck on the geometry. Okay. This guy to die so I can work on the other one. Big Boom Touch. Iron Golems are like one of the few enemies that Big Boom Touch will not one-shot. They are about as tanky as you'd expect the highest level golem in the game to be. What is... Oh, it's fucking ghosts. Not hard, I just for some reason find them to be so frustratingly annoying. 3 iron golems? Crikey. Crikey! There's a case to be made for this being one of the top 5 hardest enemies in the game. And they just dropped 3 on me, like it's no big deal. Shit. Force bolt's kind of expensive. That's one problem with this dungeon, is the more I'm going to fight enemies like iron golems or knights, the less opportunity I'm going to have to suck magicka from my opponents. Because they don't cast spells, they just wail on you. And while I have 130 potions of restore power, if after every little trivial fight I'm popping 10 of those, that's gonna go pretty fast, so 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah, and as you can see, right, 10 is not like a crazy number. That is pretty close to what it takes to refill my magic. So I'm gonna have to be a little bit more judicious in the use of those. Taking opportunities like this to... Hey, what the...
You were a fool to confront...
Okay, this is exactly what I mean. This is exactly what I mean. No autosave. Any little thing could kill you. I'm actually kind of pissed. Alright. Shield. Come on, dude. That's the sort of thing that makes me lose my patience. And that's not unique to Arena, right? This is just an old school RPG thing. It's one of those games where you have to save after every encounter, because you could just get insta-killed by something, anything, right? And that is such a let's see, where was I? Into not, let's go Jagger. Imperial Tower. Well, Showdown, almost, maybe. that's just such a frustrating experience, right? To like go this distance basically, kill all these enemies, and then the game's just like, oh, surprise, there's 10 wraiths, and you're dead. And, well, you know, it's RNG, right? I've got a 92% chance to absorb any spell they cast at me. 10 wraiths cast 20 fireballs in the blink of an eye, and I fail to absorb 4 of them, and I have low hit points, so I die. And I didn't know they were there, so I didn't get an opportunity to put my resist fire up. That's just a bad roll. That's just the equivalent of having of playing D&D with 1 hit point, or playing D&D with 6 hit points and having somebody roll 1d6 attack to attack you, and they hit a 6. Right. Congratulations, you killed me. You've killed my character. You're such skill. Right. So that's just a not feel good part of these kind of games. That I do think actually probably comes from their origins as people trying to replicate tabletop role-playing games, and just not knowing any other way of doing things than to involve as much randomness as possible. But it's unfun. I'm just gonna let this guy light me up. There we go. Alright, enough bitching. The point is, I made it up there, and I failed to follow a fundamental lesson of the game, which is save all the goddamn time. I'm not going to make that mistake this time. Got a vampire in front of me. I'll let him refill my magicka with his spells. Come on. Buddy. Ugh. Never mind. Just killed himself. Alright. Save the game. Let's do this. Alright. Let's try to remember what was happening last time I died. Straight ahead. Treasure. Iron golems. To the right. Iron golems. Wraiths were maybe here? Do not take my opponent for granted. There we go. I found my way to the correct target location. Dude. Let's see, amulet. I don't even know why I'm picking up treasure. Oh my god! No! I want you to stand. Good God, 3 Medusa. Got my pulse going there. Oh, we got multiple vampires here. I really don't like. Yeah, see, they're just like wraiths. A vampire is just like a wraith. They're casting fireball on you. They're weak to fire. Just make yourself immune to fire and sit there. They will kill themselves. And they'll charge up your magic if you're a sorcerer, which I am. Should save my game. Let's see. Okay. I need to do that. Ebony Blade has a pretty good life drain spell it can cast. Early in the game, I found a longsword of life draining. I didn't realize at the time, but the only reason the straight up steel longsword of life draining was not as good, if not better, than the well, not better, but was not as good as the Ebony Blade, was because the did not have the on-hit passive life drain. That's it. In every other way, it's like basically identical. Well, that's not true. Ebony Blade has like the hidden ebony property. So, this looks like it goes down. I can't tell. Save my game and I'm gonna check it out. The Ebony Blade has the hidden ebony property, so even though its damage is not elevated, like a weapon you'd find that's actually of ebony, it hits enemies that are otherwise immune to mundane weapons. Again, this is D&D shit, right? So they, you can't hit a ghost unless you have silver weapon, right? Just stock D&D stuff. And the Ebony Blade counts as good enough to hit literally everything. So that's another good bonus that Ebony Blade has. Other than that, though, you find something in this game, like a regular longsword of lifesteal, and you've got yourself an artifact tier bit of treasure. You should hold on to that, because I mean, that's it. It's almost as good as it gets in the game. The other lifesaver for my build was a longsword of Firestorm, which swords with big powerful spells on them like that, I don't know if it's a glitch or if it's intentional. It's probably intentional. They come with so many charges of that spell. So I think both of them had over 1,500 charges. So they are designed to allow you to have like a new primary attack, essentially. You can just lifesteal and firestorm your way through any encounter, and that's very important, especially in the early game, when you're fighting all these very difficult enemies that, quite frankly, you're going to have a hard time killing. And you don't have the tools natively to do that. You don't have any spells, right? You need... What the hell just happened? I need to escape from this golem. Buddy, I need to absorb your magic. You're not listening to me. What part of I want to absorb your magic? You're not following right now. There you go. Alright, hit me some more. Okay. Alright, this dungeon's really operating on the throw everything we possibly can at the player philosophy. A vampire is like, you know, epic tier enemy here. Like, this is as hard as it gets, with the exception of the Lich in this game. And I've fought like 5 or 6 of them, maybe, so far. There's a lot of places to rest in this dungeon, I've noticed. Lich is regenerating. Oh, where's the Lich? Okay, let's put a shock shield on. Resist shock. Force bolt. Charge me up. Oh, I forgot to. I meant to craft a spell. So because Liches are so ridiculously dangerous, but they seem to exclusively use shock magic on you. I would highly recommend, if you do play a sorcerer, if you played Arena and you played a sorcerer, right? Which I picked by answering the game's personality quest. So I didn't go into this game like with the intent of playing a sorcerer. I didn't even know that they automatically applied stunted magicka and magicka absorption to sorcerer classes. I didn't know any of that, but if you do play a sorcerer, one, the early game's going to be very difficult for you. It's not easy. It's hard. It's very, very hard. But two, when you get to the point where you could fight liches, or even at any point in the game, craft 3 spells, well, 2 spells, at a minimum, right? Craft a fire spell that gives you 100% resist fire, for like a decent amount of time, you know, like a round per level at least. And craft a shield spell that gives you 100% resist shock. I don't think there's a single enemy in the game that uses a ranged frost attack. But that's not true. There are 2 enemies in the game that use ranged frost attacks, and they are not in any way threatening. Whereas wraiths, big time threatening, and vampires, also big time threatening. Both use fire magic exclusively to attack you. And liches, oh, and fire demons as well. And liches, homunculi, and stone golems all exclusively use shock magic. So, the goal here is to give you a spell that will make you fully immune to their attacks long enough for you to absorb all, a handful of spells from them to make up for the cost of the spell you cast. Right, so you want to cast a spell, let them wail on you basically from a distance, and they'll charge you up. And then you can cast a Force Bolt and take care of them. So the only real spells you need in this game are a spell to heal yourself. Those 2 resistance spells are the resistance of fire, resistance of shock, a spell that paralyzes at a distance, so whether that's Force Bolt or a custom one, doesn't matter. Force Bolt is just convenient because it's a spell that the game sells in every Mage's Guild. A very high damaging fire spell, I recommend at touch level, because they're cheaper if you make it touch versus making it ranged. And you want it to be as powerful as possible. And Pass Wall is recommended but not required. Shield recommended but not required. That's pretty much it. That's what you need magic-wise. This guy's fucking me up. I have not once used Ice Bolt. Right, so... So that tells you how vital that spell is. Not very. I think I've used it as a test. Like, hey, how does this do against somebody? Totally unnecessary. Because there's nobody that is, like, of fire element, like these guys, that requires ice to kill. However, there are undead that require fire to kill. Like, you cannot kill them unless you cast a fire spell on them. Well, not just undead, right? So, fire is a necessary element to have in the game. Ice, you don't need it. I guess you need a light spell too. You probably need levitate. Pass roll's nice, but you don't need it. If there's a spell that cures paralysis, get it. I didn't see one, but I didn't look very hard. Good God, where the hell did you come from? That's alright. Before I let you kill yourself. There you go. Just like wraiths, right? Their fire magic backfires on them. Oh! One with flame. Heal. God. Yeah, this is something else. And that's a lot. Hey, look at that. The gauntlet pays off. I mean, I'm not doing anything but making my magic defense better here. I mean, the real threats in this game are all casting spells at you. So, level 20, last dungeon. Alright. So there's no reason. Hellhounds. I'm not terribly worried about them. Oh, who's coming for me? Oh, it's a ghost. Just stop it. Ghosts are annoying. One, they're hard to see. So in some dungeons, right, this is like this little blurry body and red eyes are just not easy to pick out. And I find that extremely annoying when things are hitting you and you don't realize where they're coming from. But two, their ranged attack drains your magicka. So even for a sorcerer, it can be somewhat annoying to have it slip through the cracks because you can't see them, right? And suddenly your magic's going down instead of up, and you rely pretty heavily on absorbing spells for it to go up. So when the opposite is happening, jeez, somebody's behind me. Nope. I just got really unlucky. Oh, there was somebody behind him. The opposite happens, and it's very frustrating. Because for a sorcerer, the magic economy is sort of the meta game you're playing. You're trying to balance. Where am I here? Isn't green typically representative of where you were? I feel like I just went backwards. Yeah. I failed to find the correct exit. I went down the incorrect exit. Save the game. Oh. Hello. Ah, come on. Alright, resist shock. Get myself alive. Force bolt you. And this is all just window dressing bullshit, so nothing to see here. This is another, in my opinion, bad habit or design trait of this game. It relies pretty heavily on spawning things in on top of you. So, you know, you'll walk into a room and suddenly behind you will be a vampire, right? Or that. I just think that's bad design. I just don't think that's fun. It doesn't feel good to. It takes away the notion that you have of being able to control and interact with space, of being able to say, I'm looking in front of me, my eyes tell me that there's nothing there. I'm gonna pan left and check the other area to see if there's anything there. I'm gonna move forward in such a way that, you know, causes me to stay conscious only of the unknown, right? And there's no such thing as known in this game. Even if you've revealed the map, any step you take or action you take could lead to it being populated with new monsters. So I find that to be somewhat frustrating. I think that's probably a function of the randomization the game offers. I'm guessing. I'm not sure. How could I know that? Oh wow. Oh, that's. I've never seen that before. I've never seen that before. A wall like that. I don't even know what to do. I don't know what was attacking me. Oh, it is a lich. Good God, there's at least 2 of them. I'm gonna need to resist shock to survive this. And actually, I'm gonna need more than resist shock. I'm gonna need to kill this guy really fast so that I can focus on this one. So I'm sure they did it because they had to, right? This game is doing a lot of technical balancing acts. This is a game from 1994 that deals with thousands and thousands and thousands and, you know, hundreds of thousands of real-world miles of terrain, and it does it by all that being an illusion. It summons it in, and it generates overworld. It can't possibly have. Well, that's not true. It must be very difficult for people to conceive of a way to have like permanently static enemies that are placed and designed locations, so that it must be a lot easier to do spawn points, triggers. This thing's going to show up when you go here. And then I guess, you know, that could be seen as a way of taking a player that can become very, very powerful and giving them a challenge. Right? I'm saying that you think you're hot shit. Well, you got to be constantly conscious of the idea that a vampire could pop around behind you. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why they would do such a thing, but it doesn't. I don't think it feels good. I don't think it works. But I can only speculate as to the reasons. The important part is Barker, so strong. He doesn't mind it. Well, look at that. Oh, that's not the way to go. That is the way back. Barker, too strong. What am I saying? There's no such thing as too strong. But I am fighting two liches at the same time. You know, I do with $1 million. Two liches at the same time. Let's do this, come on. There's no way I'm wasting spells on these liches. Once you paralyze somebody, it's that sorcerer metagame of magicka rationing. Right? There's no reason to cast a spell on a paralyzed enemy. They are helpless. I don't remember how long paralyzed lasts, but I'm playing at like 50,000 CPU cycles, a 1994 game, and I have not fought on a single enemy that has come out of paralyzation. I've been able to kill every single one of them before it runs out of time. That's a very egregious example of that design decision I was just talking about. I might gain my 21st level. I mean, they bring so many enemies to you in this dungeon that are of the highest possible tier. I mean, the experience must be astronomical. I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like doing the math, or like I go to my profile, my user Jesus Christ, where I go to my character and look at the experience points I have, then kill something and look at how many I have after that. I don't feel like doing that. But I'm very confident in a bet that says that liches are like, you know, at a scale that is you know, like a factor up from like a stone golem, you know. Okay, this homunculus was hiding behind the liches. So that's good to see you, buddy. Save my game. Okay. So had a good fight with some liches. I feel like we had a dialogue going there. This This looks like a dead end. I did see that little notch to the wall to the right of me. I just don't feel like going through. I don't like engaging with the jump mechanics in this game too much. I just think they're kind of awkward. waiting for this guy to die. Oh, because of that. Oh my god.
You are a fool to confront me.
You are a fool to confront me. You're paid the ultimate price. I, Chuggathon, will kill you. Shut up. That was a fool. You are the fool. Come on, charge me up. That's kind of what I mean, though. I mean, the game gives you tools to protect yourself from these threats, right? But if you can turn a corner and a lich can just pop in, there's literally nothing you can do to protect yourself from that. I would have to have, 700-800 restore power potions and basically cast and craft that 100% shock resistance spell, right? And just walk around with it on constantly. Like, just never let it go down. But that can't be enough, right? Because that just protects you from shock. I mean, you could turn a corner and find a vampire. Vampire could cast fireballs on you. You could turn a corner and find a Medusa. Medusa could paralyze you and beat you up. You're gonna try to 24/7 have 100% resist fire, 100% resist shock, 1,000 free action potions. All of these things are impossible to kill in roleplay, so you're gonna get yourself a stupidly overpowered spell like I have, Searing Palm. I mean, it's not tenable, right? So there's so many just enough varying threats that will kill you that that popping up of an enemy around a corner or behind you or whatever, sometimes in front of you, sometimes directly on top of you, is too brutal. It always gives you a chance of getting instantly killed with very little notice. There's just always that chance. I love these liches, these crazy clown skeletons. Very interesting design. They should have made the ebony blade ebony. Like, give those of us who need it as a weapon. I mean, it's a weapon, right? I mean, you're gonna want to use it, but make it worth using. The life drain is extreme convenience, and mostly I just don't want to have to constantly find new weapons. So it's a convenience item, right? But give it some plus to hit and damage. Like, make it better than steel. I don't understand why they went with the design for it that they did. Maybe they thought that getting an artifact was too easy, so they had to make it somewhat neutered in its power. Who knows? VJ, shout me out. Tell me what you did. Tell me why. I mean, I'm curious. Oh, my light spell right now. Not usually in a dungeon long enough for that to happen. Well, no, that's not true. That's not true at all. You're always every dungeon in this game is 60 minutes to 120 minutes. Probably more like 90 to 120 minutes. I mean, these are long dungeons. Which is fine. I mean, the bulk of the game is doing dungeons. I mean, that's the game. So, expect the game to give you a good amount of dungeon content. I'm not going very far in this level because this dungeon is throwing lich after lich after lich at you. Good God. That is it's just completely wild. How they took what is essentially a boss monster and they just said, let's just make you fight, I don't know, 50 of them. Oh, using the wrong potion. It's like if you finish the World of Balance, and the World of Ruin starts in Final Fantasy VI, and now every random fight is the Atma weapon. That wouldn't be too hard. Atma weapon's not that hard. You get the picture. Whoa. You jerk. I don't feel like waiting for you to die. I'm going into this lava area in the middle. That's almost a guarantee. Fill me up. I'm getting hyped for these subsequent games. I'm excited to experience Daggerfall again, Morrowind, even Oblivion. I'm excited to see. Yeah, I wonder how good Oblivion is now. Oh boy. I always felt like Oblivion got a bad rap. It's hard to follow up a game as unique as Morrowind, whose reputation is really built on, I think, mostly people who didn't finish it or play it even that much, right? They just played a little bit and they were like, whoa, big bugs, Ashlanders, volcano, just carapace armor, just cool stuff. Just the mushroom trees, mushroom wizards, right? Just cool shit. And that cool thematic stuff like that makes a huge lasting impression on people. So when they get to Oblivion, it's like forests, plains, farms, big stone castles, fantasy shit, right? Like they were underwhelmed by that, but that game was good. That game was good. I'm not just saying it because I crashed my car. I was so excited about it. I'm saying that game is good. Maybe it's not. $2,000 good? I'm not saying I'm a smart man. I'm mortal. Weak. Oh. Alright. Something is blasting me, so... enough of this. It's another freaking lich, naturally. Because they are now regular enemies. Liches are now hellhounds. I'm gonna be shocked if I don't gain another level. It's just it's so much experience to kill this many liches. Come on. Come on. You should be dead any minute now. I trust in you. So even though I'm fairly certain the encounter design of this final dungeon is stock, like I think stock is the wrong word, static I think is the word I was looking for. Like I think every time I play this game, you're gonna get a lich. 3 liches at that location. It still is suggestive of future games and their kind of weird scaling, right? Like a lich is supposed to be something special, but I'm fighting them like they're rats. Like there's so many of them. And that's a problem that, talking about Oblivion, right, people were specifically quite critical of in later Elder Scrolls games, where, you know, there's a Daedra Lord around the corner, around every corner. And what does that mean for what a Daedra Lord is? Right? Does that even make sense? In a game that relies so much on somebody getting, quote-unquote, really immersed in it, right? It relies so much on you, on the player being willing to accept the sandbox and make your own way in it, you know, like, that when you do little things like that, it takes you out of it. This is no longer a sandbox. This is no longer a world that I'm inhabiting. This is an arcade machine. I'm pumping a quarter in, and I'm trying to kill as many of these liches as I can. Every lich is worth 500 points. Sometimes I pick up fruit. You know, it just changes the way people look at it. I think it seems to me the design elements that cause that veil between, you know, what is a constructed video game and what is a imagined world to become more fragile. Or, I think those are. I think those can be tough for a game like this, for an open world RPG. Lich is regenerating. Before you stands a great steel door. Its surface is hot as if behind it lies a great fire. The smell of sulfur and brimstone hangs in the still dead air. Okay, so I don't know. The weird thing about this is I don't know what I'm doing in this dungeon. I assume I have to kill Jaggertharn, but I don't know. I don't know. Big door. Last dungeon. Stuff happening. There's a lich. I hope if I levitate over to this lich I don't run into another lich. That would be bad. Oh, look at that. Well, let's kill this one. So that I can reasonably kill this one. And this is another example of that, right? Like in the game world, you could imagine a lich being a very powerful being. This is D&D. They built this whole world off D&D. I mean, and fantasy novels and whatever. So it's the most powerful wizard you can imagine. Right? Somebody so powerful they figured out how to trap their soul into a little crystal, and they can live forever as an undead lich. And somehow by doing that, they get even more magically powerful. Whether you want to believe it's because they have a really long life and they can just spend all their time studying and getting more magic knowledge, or whether it's because something about losing your soul gives you more power or something. Right? That's the thing. It's a way of looking at the lich. What is that? Is that Checkerthorn? Is that Checkerthorn? No. That is quote-unquote battle mage. Looks like a vampire. Can't hit it. You're getting searing palmed. Whoa. You didn't die. Okay. Okay. I gotta do something here. Ah! Look at that. There's something there. What do I do? It says battle mage, but I think that's Joggerthorn. And if that's Joggerthorn, I think I think he has plot armor. So I tried to kill him, and he wouldn't die. He poisoned me. Jagger, my man, you've answered one of the longest questions I've had about this game. Alright. Oh, what's this? Okay. I don't know if it's supposed to be this quiet. It's a big gem. Floating over an urn of some kind. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, am I locked up? This feels like I'm locked up. Alright, it locked up. I think I beat the game and DOSBox just crashed on me or something, or the game crashed, right? The cutscene did not. So I'm gonna have to do it again. But I should have saved right before I entered that little arena. So I don't think it's gonna be a big deal. Let's do it. Let's do levitate. Let's do a shock shield because I know immediately to my right there are going to be some liches. Let's see this guy. Whoa! You were a fool to confront me. Let's try that again. I'm sitting here acting like I know exactly how to confront this enemy here. And this is why this is why you force bolt. Because everything in this game is more dangerous than melee. Everything. Alright. I can't believe the game crashed on me. So good. That's such an Elder Scrolls thing to happen. I'm triggering the last cutscene. Game crash. That is the Elder Scrolls. Through and through. Come on. There you go. Okay. There's my target. Let's save my game. Jogger himself is ahead. Let's re-up my shock shield. Let's ready my force bolts. Paralyzed him. I think I don't have to use pass wall. Maybe pass wall is the problem here. Got a key. Open the door. Cutscene. Oh yeah, this is better. Last time there was no sound, so you could tell something was up. Let's learn about this pot. This cauldron and gem. If this was explained as being important, I do not remember it at all.
You must not! The jewel holds my life force!
Okay. So he's basically a lich. Joggerthorn was a lich. He's just like a extra hardcore lich. Oh, hello. Is it the Emperor?
Thou art truly a child of the Empire. I thank thee for thy
Typical
assistance.
Emperor.
I have a particular idea as to the question of your service in mind. From this day forth, thou art named the Eternal Champion. From thy hand shall be dealt the needs of the Empire. I, Uriel Septim, true Emperor of Tamriel, do decree and thus make law. Arise, my champion, and take thy rightful place at my side.
Proven yourself a worthy champion of the Empire, and such service shall not easily be forgotten. Hang not your sword above the mantle, nor place your spellbook upon the shelves. Many such adventures shall await your hand. This was but one chapter in the story of the Elder Scrolls. And hey, you can keep playing the game. For this game, Extra has no reason to do this. Do I still have the... I still have the staff. I have 9 pieces of staff. That doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever. Okay. Well. Even though I have no reason to, I'm going to use this time, whilst collecting my thoughts on the game, to take a nap. I'll talk to a couple people. I'm going to identify my magic items that I've been picking up in the last 2 dungeons, and then I'll take maybe take a moment to just sort of acknowledge where my characters started, where they ended, how they got there. Just talk about the arena experience. This game was really fascinating to play. I had a really good time, actually. I think the dungeon crawling is very good. I think once I got over the technical problems that I was hitting, and I played this more like I was playing it on a good computer in 1994, rather than an emulator that's kind of struggling to properly emulate the experience. The core gameplay felt really good. It feels satisfying to run around swinging your weapon and casting spells, and I've got nothing that the elements of what make this the Elder Scrolls arena, I think, are all good. There are some fringe stuff that just doesn't make any sense, and I think all of it.
Do not fear, for it is I,
Wait, what?
Rhea Silmane. Listen to me. There are no others left to carry on this fight. You have been left in this cell to die. Jagartharn, Imperial Battle, Mage of Tamriel, has taken on the
Wow. What the... What? What is happening? What the hell is happening? That's a pretty funny glitch. That's Elder Scrolls. That's the Elder Scrolls. I think what I was getting at was I think all the problems of this game could be traced to a lineage where the designer wants to take a tabletop role-playing experience and make a video game out of it. And you look at every game that has ever tried to do that, and everything that's wrong with that game is based off of that assumption that those people made. As we approach the palace gates. The palace is under construction. I think Baldur's Gate, right? The parts of Baldur's Gate that are not good are because they tried to make it D&D. You know, they didn't just try to make it based off of D&D properties and lore. They tried to make the gameplay D&D. They tried to replicate a tabletop experience. I just think that's a bad move. I don't think it makes sense. Why are these guys even here? So rogue. And I think the Elder Scrolls is the same way. I think they, you know, it just doesn't make sense to attempt to do that. But they tried, and what you get is, you know, somewhat compromised experience. Well, we had a good time here. My heart is in Blackmarsh. I'm gonna go to Archon here. And that's where we're gonna end our game. Maybe a Breton? The game crashed on me. Alright, well, what better way to end my Elder Scrolls Arena experience? That's it. I beat the game. Let's take a quick look at my character. Barker. Sorcerer. I incredibly lucked out. I don't know how I would have played this game if I played it as any other class. The ability to negate 100% the spells that are cast at you and just absorb them into your magicka is so powerful. In the beginning of this game, if you play Sorcerer, it feels the exact opposite. You have no magicka to use. You suck at fighting, right? You're terrible at melee combat. You cannot equip anything more than chain, so your defenses are not very good. You can't use shields. So you could use pretty much any weapon, I think, in the game, but you're so compromised as a melee combatant that you're really just like a very, very weak warrior when you start this game. And what makes you unique, your ability to absorb magic, is just something that you can't take advantage of for quite some time. I mean, everything you fight at the beginning of this game, rats, rogues and brigands and barbarians, ghouls, skeletons, zombies, goblins, orcs, trolls, you name it, right? None of them cast spells at you. It takes a little bit of time before you start to get some mages spawned in to attack you. Now, by the end of the game, everything's slinging spells at you, right? So it's very good. But early in the game, you don't get that. So it's a very difficult early game load. You want to find magic items that have damaging and important protective spells as soon as you can, because you're not going to be relying on your magic reserves, and you want to use only items for that. You know, really rely on your itemization for your magic for the vast majority of the game. At about the halfway point, when you're, you know, finishing up the Halls of the Colossus, is when you start to integrate more of your personal spells into your repertoire. I did 100% random stat rolls. I probably put way too much into agility. I think if I was to play this again, I would, as a sorcerer, I would get enough to get +1 to hit and +1 to damage and leave it at that. Maybe put a little bit more into endurance and try to max out my willpower. The gear, right? It's all chain. You are 100% reliant for defense on ebony quality jewelry and accessories. So all of the belts and torques that would be like of stamina, not of stamina, of stat increases, you really can't use them as a sorcerer. You need that extra AC, and I'm only able to get to -19. I'm sure as a warrior I could get much better, right? So you're somewhat limited, but yeah, this was a fun experience. It's all focused around getting that itemization early on, using those items to get through dungeons until you can acquire enough resources, enough money. You can see here I have 100,000 gold. You know, once you get to like the 30, 40,000 and you don't have anything you quote unquote need, that means you're really investing in spells and potions, and at that point you're set as a sorcerer. That means you've made it, right? And that's all it took. So Barker, the Breton sorcerer, has had a really good time. I finished up Joggertharn. I finished the story of Arena, like 90% plus natural playthrough. I did it. I looked up a couple things here and there, a couple of riddles that didn't make sense to me. Near the end, when I was getting a little impatient in some of the dungeons, I looked up the layouts so I can get through them faster. But I don't think that's a big deal. I feel like I got the original Arena experience for the most part, and I'm incredibly proud to have beaten this game. I'm going to take a little bit of a break today, not all day, but I'm going to start. I think I'll start playing the Elder Scrolls Daggerfall Unity. I'm too just fascinated by the idea that somebody rebuilt that game, at least technically, using a modern engine, that we have a bug-free Daggerfall experience. I just find that so fascinating. I have to play it. I've played Daggerfall several times. I put hundreds of hours into it. I don't need to get the original experience. I have that in my brain. I really want to try this Unity thing out, so I'm gonna give that a shot. I'll probably play a little bit, maybe 4 or 5 hours with no stream, and then I'll start streaming it. So we'll see how that goes. But my Elder Scrolls journey continues. Later.